Sorry guys, I had to stop the video because my husband walked in. Things like that happen when you're videoing at home. You may hear a few children. By the way, I have 3. My daughter's name is Grace, and I have a son named Lane and a son named Landon. So you may hear some things. In fact, one of them just yelled for me. So just try to ignore those things. I hope these videos are still helpful. In fact, I wanted to get them on here and show you at some point, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But anyway, back to fears. You may or may not feel like you have a lot of fears going into these speeches. Many people do. And I just want to let you know that you're not alone. Everyone else in the class, or most people in the class, are feeling the same things as you are, and that should comfort you because you're all in this together. And so, you've got other people that are doing the same thing that you are doing. And when you get on your discussion boards and talk about the speeches, I'm sure that you can communicate some of those fears with each other. But like I said, your book has some tips. And so I wanted to share a few of those with you. One is back to that visualization word. Visualize yourself being successful. So what does that look like? We've already defined success as not perfection, but actually play that through in your mind. What would that look like? What would that be like? What would I look like being successful and sitting down? Practice in a mirror. I always suggest to all of my students that they practice in a mirror so that they can see themselves and what they look like. Sometimes we have some mannerisms that we're not sure about. Once we watch ourselves in the mirror, that we can correct, and it makes you feel more professional and put together if you can kind of minimize those things. So next, you can take deep breaths right before your speech. You can also maybe squeeze, like if you're sitting down at a table or something like that before you get up, you could squeeze the desk. Little things like that sometimes help. Take those deep breaths. Okay, I have a lot of students that do that right before they begin speaking, and it helps. It definitely helps. Don't lock your knees. That's always something that makes you feel a little less stable. And realize that some nervousness is normal. Like I said, everyone is going through this and experiencing this, not just you. And you can actually let nervousness work to your advantage. If you, instead of letting it overcome you, nervousness sometimes makes you more alert and more focused on what you're doing. And so if you just think of it like that, it can help you and will be a better experience for you. There are also internal and external distractions that can happen during a speech. External being all those things like my son that yelled just a few minutes ago, my husband walking in the door, things like that happen, and we really can't control them, and we just need to handle them the best way that we can and try to move on and not let it frazzle us. There are also internal distractions for both the speaker and the listener, and we need to try to minimize those internal distractions. We might be hungry. We might be concerned about a test the next day. We might be trying to remember all of that information that's going to be on that test the next day. But we need to try to block those things out of our mind so that we can focus on being a successful speaker and listener. And the last information I want to share with you about Quiz 2 is that we do need to be an active listener. Speaking of listening, when you are a listener, you have to be that good audience member that you would want for yourself. And so instead of thinking of some of those internal distractions, you need to try to focus on the speaker, give them some affirming nods and smiles, and again, focus on what they're trying to say. And that's all for Quiz 2. Bye-bye.